Howdy folks, Spencer here, and today I'm going to be breaking down this brand new Lower Decks Mods bundle that is arriving today, April 1st on PC, and on April 21st over on console. As always, chapters to each topic are listed below. So starting off with the basics, like with any other Mods bundle, there is a Choice Pack and a Mega Pack available. The Choice Pack has a base cost of 29,500 Zen, the Mega a base cost of 50,000 Zen, and there will of course be an introductory 50% discount running from the 1st up through the 10th on PC. And for console players, again, this is arriving on the 21st, so you'll have a similar sale for that when it goes live over there. And with that 50% discount, that'll take the Choice Pack down to 14,750 Zen and the Mega Pack down to 25,000. And for the bundled contents, we have 3 ships in here: the Texas American Worker Escort, the California American Worker Utility Cruiser, and the Parliament American Worker Surveyor Cruiser. So if you just want those, getting the Pick 3 Choice Pack will enable you to get all 3 of those ships on account-wide unlock. But if you are not interested in all the ships, or if you're looking at the Mega Bundle, then the consumable items that you can get here are 50 Master Keys, a pack of 300 Lobby Crystals, 16 Elite Bridge Officer Upgrade Tokens, 9 Experimental Ship Upgrade Tokens, or 10 Ultimate Tech Upgrades. So the Lobby Crystals here, as I mentioned in the past, if you are considering going for those, just go for the keys instead. 50 Master Keys will get you right around 300 Lobby Crystals, but you'll also be getting 50 lockboxes worth of items. So never go for the Lobby Crystals from these mods bundles. Always go for the keys if that's an option, if that's what you're going to do. Now, heading over to the ships, all 3 of these are quite similar. All 3 feature dual American Worker seating, which is one of the weakest seating combos in the current meta. That doesn't mean that these ships are bad. It just means that you're not buying any of these for the ship stats. The value is either going to come from the trader console or the theme aspect the ship has for you. So the first ship here is the California American Worker Utility Cruiser. This has a hull modifier of 1.25, shield mod of 1.2, a 4/4 weapon setup, 4 device slots. I'll go over the Bridge Officers in a moment. Console-wise, 3 tac, 5-inch, 3 psi, and 1 universal. Base turn rate of 11, impulse of 0.17, inertia of 50. Plus 10 to shield power, engine, and aux. And being a American Worker ship, it does have all of the American Worker mechanics. Being a cruiser, it does have all 4 of the cruiser commands. And for the mastery package, it is just your generic cruiser. Now, for the Bridge Officer setup, you have a Lieutenant Commander Engineer, a Commander Engineer with American Worker, an Ensign Universal, Lieutenant Universal, and a Lieutenant Commander Universal with American Worker. So this does at least have a Lieutenant Commander Uni, so you can run that as attack, but that Lieutenant Commander Engineer with no specialization seat on it is a bit rough. And just in general, this layout, you can make it work if you really want to run this ship, but compared to many of the other cruisers out there, this is a really weak Bridge Officer setup. And next up is the console Terraforming Emulsion. The passives on this are plus 33% flight speed while out of combat, plus 76% power transfer rate, and plus 38 Starship Shield regen. And for the clicky, this is going to create chasing gas clouds, which deal physical damage and slow your foes. So it will summon in 8 of these clouds, which will last for 30 seconds. Clouds affect all foes within 1 kilometer and 1 foe within 5 kilometers, which they will chase. The clouds reduce flight speed and turn rate by 50%, and they deal physical damage, which scales up based on proximity to the cloud. If a foe is defeated while affected by a cloud, they will create a new cloud, which lasts for 30 seconds and seeks out another foe within 5 kilometers. So I don't know what the actual performance of this is like. I have never heard anyone talk about it positively, but if you're really into like an eject warp plasma style setup, then this might be something you might be interested in. But meta-wise, I don't think this is anything you need to worry about. And the Starship trait for the California is Lower Decks Initiative. When you hit Ensign rank Bridge Officer abilities, you're going to get a stacking buff that lasts for 2 minutes. You can have up to 10 stacks of this up at a time. And this is going to be 2% recharge reduction for Commander rank Bridge Officer abilities and 2% recharge reduction for Captain abilities per stack, so up to 20% for both of those. So the 20% recharge reduction for Commander rank Bridge Officer abilities, that's typically just going to be for a single ability on your ship because most ships in the game only have a single commander. So the value from that is very, very low. The 20% recharge time for Captain abilities, that is a bit more significant. But we do have other ways to get cooldown reduction for captain abilities through traits like Intelligence Agent Attaché, and that's a personal space trait, whereas this is a starship trait. So some of you may find ways to benefit from the captain ability recharge here, but I think for most situations, this is a trait that isn't really going to be that relevant for you. And next up is the Parliament, and I do happen to have a full review for this up on the channel, so I'll have that link down below if you want to learn more about the ship or its accessories. So stats-wise, this has a hull modifier of 1.45, shield mod of 1.125, a 4/4 weapon setup, 4 device slots. Console-wise, 2 tac, 5-inch, 4 psi, and 1 universal. Base turn rate of 8.5, impulse of 0.15, friction or traction of 0.4, plus 10 to weapons and aux, plus 5 to engines and shields. Being a Merc Worker ship, it does of course have the Merc Worker mechanics. It has all 4 cruiser commands and the generic cruiser mastery package. And for the bridge officer seating, you have a Lieutenant Tac, a Commander Ainge with Merc Worker, a Lieutenant Engineer, a Lieutenant Commander Science, and a Lieutenant Universal with Merc Worker. Again, not a very strong bridge officer setup. There's too much engineering there, and at most you're going to have access to a Lieutenant Tac plus another Lieutenant if you use that Universal. So certainly not a very strong setup. Now, as for the accessories, the console does have some endgame applications that are a bit niche, but for PvP or for support-focused builds in PvE, there are use cases here for this console. This is the controlled gravimetric demolition. Passes on this are plus 22.8 kinetic and physical damage resistance, plus 21.4 starship hull capacity, and plus 28.5 starship EPG. The clicky here is going to create a grid around your target that is going to debuff it and any other foes within it. It's a minus 15 kinetic and physical damage resistance debuff there, so for do builds, not going to do much, but for torps or exotic builds, that is a nice debuff. And it is also going to disable their engines to help keep them in place. And it does also do some kinetic damage. And here's what this will look like in action. You can see that blue sphere there. You've probably seen this in some TFOs before, so if you're looking to get that on account-wide unlock, then getting the Parliament from this bundle would enable that for you. And the starship trait here is Efficient Demolition. Upon defeating foes, this adds 5 power to whichever subsystem is lowest for 30 seconds, and subsequent activations of the trait provide 10 power instead for 10 seconds. When I was testing this out for the review I did for the Parliament a year ago, I did find this trait was stacking, and it did end up being quite a large power buff when you're on a build that gets lots of kills very quickly. So if you're looking for something that can give you quite a bit of power, then this trait might be worth taking a look at. And the last ship in this bundle is the Texas Merc Worker Escort. So this has a hull modifier of 1.25, a shield mod of 0.85, a 4/3 weapon setup, plus an experimental weapon slot. It has 2 device slots. Go over the bridge officers in a moment. Console-wise, 5 tac, 3-inch, 3 psi, and 1 universal. Base turn rate of 19, impulse of 0.21, inertia of 70. For the power buffs, plus 20 to weapons and plus 10 to engines. It is a Merc Worker ship, so it does, of course, have all those perks. It can equip dual cannons, and it has the standard Escort Mastery package. And for the bridge officer setup, this is a Commander Tac with Merc Worker, a Lieutenant Commander Engineer with Merc Worker, a Lieutenant Commander Science, a Lieutenant Universal, and an Ensign Universal. This is not the best bridge officer setup in the game, but compared to the other ships in this bundle, this is the best of the 3. And heading over to the accessories, the first here is the console VAQ Warhead Multiple Launch System. The passives on this are 16.3% hull capacity and plus 31.2% kinetic and beam damage at Cat 1. The clicky for this console is charge-based. Each activation will fire all stored charges at that time. You can have up to 12 charges stored. This console has been viewed as the immolating phaser lance for torp builds since its release. If used properly, it can do very well on kinetic builds. The issue is using it properly. The VAQ warhead that this thing launches needs to be fired from a few kilometers away so that they have time to split up into additional projectiles, meaning that if you fire this too close to your foe, then it's not going to have time to split apart and you're not going to get as much damage from it. And the experimental weapon this ship has is the VAQ Warhead Individual Launch System, so it's a smaller version of the console essentially. Has very similar mechanics, so again, you want to be making sure to sit far enough away from foes that this has an opportunity to split apart and do its additional damage. And the Starship trait here is Algorithmic Energy Weapon Lensing. This is going to be 10% bonus damage Cat 2 with energy weapons while the trait is slotted, and an additional 20% Cat 2 bonus damage with energy weapons to foes between 2 and 7 kilometers. So for foes between 2 and 7 kilometers, that's a total of 30% additional Cat 2 damage you're doing against them. This trait is fine, but there's a lot of competition out there nowadays for damage buffs like this, so you probably already have traits doing the same thing, or potentially even more. And to wrap things up, this is clearly focused on the theme side rather than performance. So if you're really into lower decks and you've been wanting the California, the Parliament, or Texas on account-wide unlock, then that is exactly what this bundle provides. From a meta perspective, there's no reason for you to go out and pick this bundle up. There's much better ways for you to spend, 150 bucks worth of Zen. If you are going to pick the bundle up, then just do the pick 3 choice pack and get the 3 ships. Don't spend an extra 100 bucks on the mega bundle. The accessories here, the fluff, that's just not worth it. And I do want to be clear that while I view the 3 ships in here as being a bit weak with the dual American worker seating on them, they are still perfectly capable of getting you through any content the game has. Any T6 ship, and honestly most T5s, are capable of doing that. It's just that compared to some of the other ships out there, the performance of these is going to be a bit lackluster. But that's all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions or thoughts about this bundle, feel free to drop them down below. And as always, thank you to all channel members and viewers for the continued support. See you guys around.